far as taking damage from enemies, those had to be randomized as well. Otherwise, just about anything is random. And we're starting with probably our two basic starters. MetaLow starting with Quickman and Squidman doing Flashman. Seems like right now, MetaLow and Squidman are pretty much starting off with not too well. It wasn't all that annoying until the crabs came in.
Well, this is the general lineup, I would say, for the randomizer tournament. Quickman and or Flashman. So we have one going to Flashman, one going to Quickman, and let's see which path panned out best. Maybe get an item at the end. And that could definitely help with proposing what the next area is going to be.
Yeah, well, for the reason why you see these two going for these stages first is that there's an easy to access E-Team that you're probably going to wind up wanting since you have no idea what's going to be coming up. So these E-Teams are, like I said, you see Squidman getting it, and Squidman now realizing that one of the walls are not weak to Buster. Squidman was trying to check it out earlier, but the crabs were actually in the walls, so he probably wasn't able to get a clearer means of realizing that the Buster wasn't available.
So we got Woodman and Heatman.
Looks like Heatman is the easier of the two. Meanwhile, we got a nasty, slow-acting Woodman. But MetaLow,
say that being slow is generally makes him more difficult? As if anything, I feel like he won't hop really far from where he is.
Honestly, it depends on the Robot Master. For someone like Woodman, if the leaf shield is slow and the falling leaves actually move a little faster, then the leaf shield disappears, another leaf shield will spawn immediately. So there are chances that you can actually get a lot of leaf shields on screen, and those can be really problematic, especially in cases where the leaf shield will actually stand in place, even when Woodman is moving along, pretty much adding more chaos into the boss fight. So slow Robot Masters can actually be quite an issue, depending on the situation.
I've noticed slow crash never really is too much of an issue.
Well, slow crash is stupid, so we don't count him.
Nickname Dumb Crash.
But anyway, we have MetaLow and Squidman pretty much just switching positions right now. Squidman having himself an easy time with these one-shot chickens. Fortunately, chickens can be really annoying if they have probably about more than 3 HP, where they can't just continue to walk and shoot. So, of course, MetaLow already dealt with that, having already dealt with Quickman stage. So, right now, these two are having quite a simple time on these two stages, but that can change easily with the remaining 6 Robot Masters.
Well, I guess we'll see now how Squidman handles Woodman. MetaLow getting to the Robot Master first on Flashman stage here.
MetaLow should have a pretty simple time with this Heatman. This Heatman is still pretty susceptible to Buster, so MetaLow should handle him pretty easy enough. Squidman, on the other hand, might choose to dig for weaknesses for this Woodman fight, but we're gonna see in a few moments.
Yep, using the pause buffer here. And took him down super quick, but with only 2 health left to spare.
Yeah, coming in a little bit close on that fight, but was able to get the kill and move on to his next stage. And it doesn't seem like we still haven't found any items yet, so our 3 items are still out at large. And oh,
ooh, Airman.
Airman 3rd, that is a risk. Airman is one of those stages that is really dangerous depending on the enemy set. Speaking
and
of
it's
which,
crabs. Oh, and it's a 2-hit crab too. Or is it 3? Oh, there's
2 hits is
not
one too many. So
yeah.
So MetaLow's gonna have to be careful with his jumps. seeing crabs in the air can wind up being a real issue if you're in the air. You can really get knocked back and right down and knocked down to the pits. Meanwhile, Squidman's having some issues with drills and I think Buster immune prop tops.
Ooh. I was so super focused on MetaLow's choice of air that I wasn't even paying attention to Squidman. But he seems to have gotten through it, so...
Leaf Shield seems to one-shot the hot dogs, and it looks like the Leaf Shield is reversed horizontally. Ooh, and takes a nasty death on the hot dogs right before the midpoint. That is really unfortunate. Gonna have to dig through the first half of the stage all over again. Also, the prop tops on Buster immune. I thought I saw a tank though. Whatever.
I'm gonna say that this seed looks like it's not being too kind to our runners here on either stage.
But it seems like MetaLow is having a slightly easier time though. Taking his time, but still precariously moving on the rest of Airman stage. So right now, I would say MetaLow has a slight advantage for the time being. As he goes to the Airman boss door and about to fight whatever robot master in Air Room.
And we'll find out it's Quickman.
A very fast and a very Buster strong Quickman, no less.
And he don't seem to like shooting, he'd rather just run into you. Oh, but MetaLow got him down pretty quick.
So that's 3 stages down, and ooh, that is ugly. We gotta sell some Joe issues in the trees. Welcome to Sniper Joe's treehouse.
God, you know, between them with all the mechs, how did they get the mechs up in the trees like that?
Meanwhile, we find that we have item 3 in Airman stage, so MetaLow's going straight to Woodman, probably going to try for the good woods up utilizing item 3, and I don't think he has Quick Boomerang in stock, so he's probably going to do the Buster version of it. So MetaLow is pretty consistent with it, so I expected MetaLow to save quite a bit of time here as far as Squidman winds up having to just take a lot of damage and take the long way to the wood boss door.
Finding out about the inverted leaf shield.
Very fast moving Flashman, yet it's very slow yet really high jump. Fortunately, he's pretty susceptible to Buster as well, so he was pretty easy to take out. MetaLow attending good woods up. Having a little bit of issues, but finally makes his way up. And we find item 1 in Woodman stage.
Alright, so he pulled off the good wood zip here. At least up so far.
Yeah, it ain't over yet. Now the hard part begins, which only took about a couple of seconds. So, GG MetaLow.
And Squidman meeting, what would we call this? Passion fruit punch?
Depends on the water. Looks like it's about to be red.
Ah, so fruit punch.
Yeah, you can always tell the color of the actual water by the shadowing below before the platforms. So it's really actually easy to know what water is gonna be. Anyway, MetaLow easily takes out Flashman as well, and he's about to get his item 1.
Squidman gets the bubble zip also.
So for those that are wondering, item 1 is the most important item in the randomizer because it is the only item that has the randomized attributes. Its duration and its height are completely random, so we don't know if it goes up fast or slow, if it's a long-lasting or short-lasting item 1, and something that's short-lasting is Squidman's life.
Squidman taking a death here at the falls. That's one of the worst spots, I would say, to actually have to take a death.
Yep, it negates the good wood zip. I mean, not the good wood, but the bubble zip, so it's a real unfortunate situation that Squidman is putting himself through right now. Meanwhile, MetaLow is successfully gets the item 1 and utilizes the item, not the item 3, but the flash stopper to actually negate the fat fans.
The Fanish Inquisition. You know, thankfully he had Flash Stopper, otherwise that could have caused him a very serious issue there.
Actually, not in that case, no.
No?
I mean, he was still in a position to actually keep moving forward. All he was done was just really slow him down since he was no longer in the zip state.
Well, we promised a good run. I think this is going to be a really good run. We have definitely a pretty difficult seed for both our runners here. It's not gonna be easy on it.
Squidman's definitely taking the rougher of the two, while MetaLow is actually running around pretty decently so far.
Yeah, he hasn't. He's been pretty much zipping through even the most difficult stages right now. He's got a great start. And
anyway,
what is he? He's basically almost a whole Robot Master ahead, isn't he?
Squidman trying to catch up, taking out Metal Man in Bubble Room, one of the easier Robot Masters to have in that particular room thanks to the water physics.
Yeah, it slows his blades down. Oh, and we got, go figure, a dumb crash.
Well, not completely dumb, but dumb enough.
Yeah, well, at least he was strong to Buster.
So that's about 5 Robot Masters down for MetaLow, while he just making a lot of quick work of these stages so far, utilizing all his items and all his weapons to pretty much the fullest extent. While Squidman is still just trudging along, but his deaths have put him quite a bit behind. So anyway, we got MetaLow rolling through Bubble Man stage, which we saw earlier, while Squidman is the first one to take his chance in Metal Man stage. Right now, Metal Man stage seems to hold not too much issue. So it seems like Squidman is going to be able to get to the Metal Man boss room pretty safely. Although that still depends on what Robot Master we're going to see in the conveyor belt shenanigans that is Metal Man's room.
Oh, picking up that extra life. That might do him some good in the future. Being that he had lost a life unnecessarily on Bubble. Well, we won't say unnecessarily. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do with some of these deaths, especially when they just spring up on you like that.
Meanwhile,
oh, but MetaLow seeing ahead of time somehow about the same thing that got in Squidman in his death in Bubble. Did the pause buffer to get over that.
Yeah, Airman was in Metal Room and pretty much just got shot down pretty much no problem.
Would you say Airman would be best seen in the Metal Room, being that he, you know, has to actually move, I guess, towards or away from the player?
Yes and no. It depends on the air shooter position, because actually in the conveyor belt room, when you're on the conveyor, the air shooters actually move slower when they try to move and disappear. You have to actually jump in the air to make the fans actually move faster out of the room. But in hindsight, you also get the advantage that you can also, whenever he's on the other side and he tries to suck you in towards him, they actually use the conveyor belts to your advantage at the same time and stay on the walls with the suction ability pretty much being non-effective towards you. So it's pretty much a give and take in that room.
Squidman couldn't pull off that crash zip. That's gonna hold him off a little bit on this one. Do you
And
think one of
technically-
our runners is gonna end up keeping up with their 0-2 streaks?
Well, right now, in comparing what we've seen right now, MetaLow is holding a particularly distinct advantage, able to utilize a lot of the, excuse me, the Mega Man 2 available zips, and Squidman just haven't be able to cash in on them as well. So right now, MetaLow holds the distinct advantage over Squidman at the current moment.
Well, I would say especially if the Fanish Acquisition ends up being in Heatman stage, that we haven't seen the last of it yet.
Meanwhile, Peepees, our little birds, are just pretty much just pummeling MetaLow, but he should still be in the position to safely go into the metal corridor.
Oh, this is a first. I haven't actually seen this before. Squidman decided to go on the left-hand side of the crash climb.
It's something you see every once in a while, but it's not that uncommon. Oh yeah, people noticing the invisible platforms that sometimes occur. It happens sometimes when the Lightning Lord platform disappears, when a PP spawns it out of the room. For some reason it brings out some kind of invisible platform that's somewhere random in the air. Don't know why it works, but that's one of the reasons why Airman stage was changed and redesigned, so that has a tendency not to happen anymore.
Oh, isn't that funny? So we actually have Heatman's song on Heatman's stage.
No, we don't. That's Flash.
This is Flash, you're right. I'm sorry. That makes it seem so terrible.
Don't trigger me, I'm a music guy.
No!
Get my music trigger up.
I won't. I feel bad now that I said it. I just recognized that I'm so used to listening now with the Mega Man Randomizer, the randomness of the music, that it kind of threw me off there.
And I'm gonna hold it against you.
No, you should. It's terrible. My boyfriend's a musician. He does 8-bit music. He would get so mad at me.
Jeez, you have an interesting life, don't you?
Oh, I do.
But
we're
anyway,
not here to
MetaLow.
talk about me. We're here to talk about MetaLow and Squidman.
Speaking of MetaLow utilizing the item 3 zip to zip the majority of the second half of Heatman stage, but we have no item 2, so MetaLow is forced to use the Yoku blocks to get across. But
yeah,
in pro
it has
fashion,
to be
of course,
locked
MetaLow
behind.
does it easy.
Yeah, it's obviously locked behind Heatman here. So they wanted you to use those Yoku blocks in this run.
So who is our final Robo? Let's see what Bubble Man has in store for us this time around. Pretty simplistic bubble pattern. Should be really easy for...
Ooh.
Yeah.
He cut it close there, but... Thankfully, Bubble Man was just kind of taking his sweet time floating.
So yeah, that's pretty much 8 Robot Masters down. He finally gets his item 2 that he probably wished he had earlier. And finishing off with 19 minutes, pretty good time for this particular setup for this seed.
Anything pre-20, that's what I've been told.
But anyway, we see Wally on the screen. We're about to see Wally Castle on the screen. You know it's that time. So everyone in chat, it's time for our favorite game in the whole wide world. Guess the color of the Mecha Dragon, and if you want some extra credit, guess that weakness as well. As I'm a believer in ladies first, Retro Green Gamer, please start us off, and please remember your time.
Okay, I know if you've watched it, I usually take my time trying to guess the color of the dragon. I'm going to try and do it fast this time. I am going to say that our dragon is going to be purple, yellow, and green. And I'm going to suggest the weakness for our dragon is going to be Crash.
Woo! Record time selection.
It really is.
But seriously, for this seed, I'm gonna wind up trying to use my usual standby and have a monochrome dragon. And this time we're gonna go for probably a vanilla weakness. So we're gonna see if Quick is gonna be it.
All right, let's check it out.
Yeah, MetaLow
is just zipping through this stage. No problem, no holdback, no nothing.
Squidman's about to try to utilize the item 3 zip. Looks like he's old. And he decides to just go on ahead because he might not have had enough energy for a second try. Don't want to try to farm for weapon energy either. So, a fortunate walk of shame for Squidman this time around.
Oh, it's a purple, blue, and periwinkle dragon. But he...
Periwinkle? That is not a color you hear that often.
I'm very elaborate with my color schemes. And you're right about the quick weakness. Ah!
It usually tends to be that way. It's not that hard to guess that.
Is it? Is that well, it's kind of is it randomized in the favor of the vanilla weaknesses?
I don't think it's randomized in favor for any kind of weakness. I mean, the Mega Dragon has 2 weaknesses, a third for if Buster is available, but it could be just any given 2 weaknesses. It just seems to be the case that whenever I see a randomizer when I play it, Quick Boomerang is usually my go-to, and it's also usually the randomized weakness for the Mecha Dragon, so it just happens to be that way by circumstance.
Now, item 2, I mean, besides its location, in and of itself isn't randomized just because of this Wily 2 stage, isn't it?
Can you repeat that? I kind of missed it.
Well, I know item 1, its lengths and times and availability, well, not available, but its lengths and times of its activity is randomized, but item 2 and item 3 aren't, right?
Right. And yes, that is mostly for the Wily stages, as probably having those as randomized attributes could make the situation almost impossible to traverse some of these stages, especially like here in Wily 2, if there was a randomized attribute for item 2 that prevents you from flying across that large, long spike section en route to those 2 ladders, then you pretty much will have a near unwinnable situation.
Well, MetaLow quickly getting down to Pico Pico, and I guess we're gonna see what Pico Pico's weakness is, and it's not Buster.
Well, we won't have a God Pico and won't be Leaf Shield either. And MetaLow's still digging.
It's the sound bite, sorry. I wasn't expecting that.
You know, this is still a pretty good weakness, but it looks like it's gonna use all of the Metal Blade's old.
Oh, and MetaLow takes a death here. And as we normally say, Wily 2 and Wily 4 are the deciding factors a lot of times in these races.
That is really an uncharacteristic death for MetaLow. He's usually not the guy to probably die in a situation like that, so this is something that Squidman might be able to take advantage of, but Squidman had quite a bit of deaths himself, so we might have to see a little bit more mistakes from MetaLow in order for Squidman to catch up.
Yeah, he must have just not paid attention to his life or found the metal weakness and kind of got distracted by that, seeing how quickly he was taking those Pico Picos down.
It looks like MetaLow is going to search for another weakness, because the Metal Blade is actually kind of one of the nerf weaknesses this time around, but Crash looks to be doing just as well. But he's not going to have enough Crash to finish the job, so he's going to switch to Metal, which is actually well, he won't have enough Metal to finish it off either, because the Metal Blade is actually exact damage for the Pico Picos, especially with the nerf number that it has. Pretty much one Metal Blade per unit of energy, so that is a really nerfed Metal Blade this seed.
Well, thankfully, he did have enough crash, and it exploded extremely quickly to his benefit here.
Wasn't paying attention to Squidman's side. He beat the Mega Dragon. I think he used a different weakness. I didn't catch what it was.
Oh, I was so once again eyeballing MetaLow. I was enraptured by that.
It's hard not to follow the leader. It seems to be like one of those standards with commentary and following randomizers. You see
well,
it just about
for me, I wasn't exactly positive how much crash he had left when he switched back to metal. So when he ran out of metal, I was just curious if he had enough for 2 hits. But
we're gonna have some Sniper Joes here, and at least a few shotmen. So
we got some Strawberry Kiwi Punch now.
Yeah, for those that aren't familiar with some of the subtleties in the randomizer, as you can see, there's some sprite glitching in the splashing of the water. You can almost tell what kind of enemies that are going to be in your way, depending on what sprite glitched splash thing you get. So the sprite glitch was a Sniper Joe. So that's why I was able to notice that there was a chance for Sniper Joe to be along the underwater area.
So we thinking the Guts tank here is gonna have a quick weakness also? Oh, he used an E tank. Do you think he did that accidentally? And it was quick.
More vanilla weaknesses. GG.
That's kind of where I was going. I figured if the dragon was vanilla weak, maybe the Guts tank for some reason. I feel like it usually falls in some weird pattern.
Nah, it's usually not the case, but it's not hard to think of it that way.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. Well, Squid's a Pico Pico, and he found the metal weakness here.
And I suspect him to switch to another weakness in a little bit as well. Meanwhile, MetaLow begins his ascent to Wally 4, which could be or could not be dangerous depending on what the randomizer has in store. But we're about to find out in a little bit. Right now, nothing too special. But for those that are unfamiliar with the randomizer, Wally 4 has some tweaks. This particular screen and the screen after has randomized fake floors. So MetaLow is trying to figure out which floors are fake so he knows where to jump and hopefully not fall. And utilizing the vertical zip with the item 3, he's able to ignore the second area, which also had a randomized fake hole. So he didn't even have to worry about that. So MetaLow is just cruising through Wally 4.
And we got Squidman filling up on Guts tank stage and taking his dive into the Strawberry Kiwi. I did notice the water glitch before you had said it, but I never noticed that it actually pertains to some of the models of the enemies that are going to be in the stage. But now that you mentioned it, I can kind of see that.
Yeah, the only dangerous thing you probably would notice if there was no sprite glitch at all, as you won't know what enemies will be ahead of you as a result. The glitch splash graphics at least gives you some kind of indication of what's coming up.
Wow, MetaLow making use of all these zips. Hopefully... Well, he's an expert. He's not going to overzip here.
MetaLow is pretty freaking strong.
Don't want to curse. Oh, he got out.
And as we see, the walls are weak to bubble, which is actually one of the most annoying wall weaknesses. So anyway, we're digging for the booby weakness, which seems to be quick boomerang. It's a quick boomerang world, this particular Wally boss seed.
is a slow bubble.
MetaLow's almost finished with Boobeam, pretty much having very little issue with Boobeam as a whole. About to take out his last turret right now. And there you have it. We about to have ourselves MetaLow into the refights. It's pretty much MetaLow's race to lose at this point, as he pretty much has himself quite a bit of a hefty lead.
Yeah. Well.
Looks like we're gonna have some Blaze Heat next music for our refights. So yeah, one of the extra
So what
perks
games? Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but one of the extra quirks about this randomizer is that taking a page out of some of the ROM hacks, the music for the refights is continuous throughout the entire refight. So you have uninterrupted music throughout the entire stage. So you get to hear Blaze Heatnik's theme throughout the entire refights, as MetaLow decides to try to tear through each and every robot master as fast as possible.
And where did you say this song was from?
Someone gets it right in the chat. It's Mega Man X6.
Ah.
Squidman not having too much trouble with Wily 4 as well. Probably gonna take the long walk towards the Boobeam boss room.
Yeah, so for those of you who know or don't know, our runners have no idea where each other are at this current point in time.
Yeah, in a true randomizer fashion, they're not allowed to know the progress in where each other are, so no one knows where they are at this point. MetaLow's pretty much down to his last two robot masters, about to take out Woodman and then go to his final one. Meanwhile, Squidman having a bit of a rough go trying to hit these bubbles, hit the walls with the bubbles. Like I said, bubbles is the most awkward weaknesses for the walls.
Well, especially this bubble, with the way it's just so slow moving and...
Well, for some reason, bubbles seem to have an awkward hit collision with the walls, so we really don't know why it acts that way, but anyway, we got a Wily machine on MetaLow's end. Let's see if it's Buster Week.
It's Buster... Oh, it isn't! This is the first time I've commentated and it hasn't been Buster Week.
Milestone for you, I believe.
It is! As I swear, it's like 70%.
Just to prove that it's not always Buster Week.
And oh, he's gonna have to use his last E-Tank here on the Wily machine. And it's air for the second half.
Used a lot of his resources, but he's able to get this particularly fierce Wily machine down.
Yeah, it's the first time I've actually seen a player have to shuffle for items for the Wily machine. As far as my commentating, not as far as the runs. And
as a result, he had to shift through different weaknesses, and some of the weaknesses are locked between phases. So what works for one phase might not work for the other. Well, anyway, MetaLow is on his path towards Victory Road, taking our usual favorite quotings, and he's about to face the alien in a few seconds.
Oh, should we try? No, we don't have enough time. I'm gonna say green alien, purple head.
I'm gonna say whatever color we're about to see in a few seconds, and I'm just gonna claim it. Whatever color it is, I'm correct.
Again, my color's all messed up today.
But anyway, MetaLow had to do some weapon searching this time around. Takes the second page and no luck, and it's charged heat.
Well, look at that.
It was a supercharged heat and did massive damage. But at any rate, MetaLow finishes first place in our first race of 3 with official SRL time of 35 minutes and 17 seconds. GG for MetaLow.
I think this second race is going to definitely push our runners even faster. I'm still expecting this to be a 3-run, 3-game race.
There's a definite possibility. MetaLow might be one of the strongest, but Squidman is still up there as well. He's one of the ones that attend the weekly Sunday night randomizer races, and is usually one of the ones that finish at least top 3. Usually the ones that finishes #1. So Squidman is definitely not out of it, not by a long shot. Even
GG to MetaLow for his first win.
Yeah, even in one of the exhibition randomizer showcases before the actual tournament was on the way, when MetaLow and Squidman were showcased, Squidman did beat MetaLow on one of the races. So on a given seed, Squidman can beat MetaLow. So the possibility is still there.
And he's gonna find air weakness super quick on this machine here.
About to say, hopefully Squidman has the E-Tank, and he does, and pops it in immediately. Not to give Squidman no credit. I mean, this is still a pretty good run for what the seed threw at him.
Oh
so,
yeah, this was a vicious seed. I could tell. And had our runners not been so expert at this game to begin with, we would have seen probably a lot more deaths and stalls and delays.
Yeah, so as Squidman is about to make his run towards the alien, we also want to remind you to also, as always, follow our runners. They're putting up a good, decent show, and remember, this is a best out of 3. So we're gonna have match 2 immediately after, and match 3 will come immediately afterwards if Squidman beats MetaLow on race 2.
Now, the winner of this match goes into the finals to face Mega Kyle. Personally, I think either one of these runners would be a great match against Mega Kyle. But the loser actually is going to end up in our 3rd round losers bracket, where they will be facing the winner of the race that comes up after our 2 runners here are done, which is Prodigy and Kumba.
Well, GG's for Squidman as he finishes off the alien, and he finishes with official SRL time of 38 minutes and 26 seconds. So GG's for our 2 racers, and we'll have race 2 as soon as we get the seed up and going. So yeah, give me a few moments while I'll boot the seed up for our runners. And this seed here.
Does it have a special name?
Well, we're about to put it up in a few moments. Alright, I had the seed up on the Discord. They should be getting this shortly.
Red Bob.
Yeah, maybe some people that probably be triggered with Spanish nomenclature or naming fanatics will probably be a little triggered by this.
Would they?
I don't know, because if I look at it, it almost feels like broken Spanish. But
Kind of.
but the stream will see it shortly what I mean by that in a moment. But that aside, what was your take of our race 1? What was your take, Retro?
I thought the seed was extremely one of the most difficult seeds I've seen yet. I think both our runners did an amazing job tackling it and showing their expert level and professionalism in it. I think the bubble death on Squidman that Squidman took was almost one of the defining factors here for him making this an exceptionally close and/or win-lose. And MetaLow being able to see that oncoming shot and just with ease pause buffer around it, definitely didn't clench this run for him, but it gave him almost the same time frame of a win here. Squidman, I think, doesn't normally make these kinds of mistakes from the runs that I've seen him do. So I'm thinking that this is just a warm-up, and the next one I'm expecting to be extremely close.
Yeah, about the bubble death, one of the enemies that was seen there were shotmen, the one that shoots in an arc. For a brief period, those particular enemies, those are particularly dangerous in Bubbleman stage because they're positioned right in places where if you try to casually jump over pitfalls, they can actually snap you out in the air. And you saw what happened to Squidman. It wound up just proving to be brutal for him. I think what MetaLow realized the potential of a shotman being in that particular ledge and acts accordingly, because one of the things you can do if you can anticipate shotman in those particular ledges is that you can actually position your jump as far as you can get to a ledge as possible and jump over that shot and safely land on the next platform after. It's pretty much based on the timing that you make your jump, whether you get popped in the air or you land on the platform after. So it's really a precarious situation to be right in the middle of.
Yeah, and then Squidman also failing to get a couple of the zips that MetaLow had ended up pulling off, particularly the crash zip and the heat zip not having item 2. I think and having to have to run through that also kind of set him back a little bit. But and MetaLow, amazingly enough, kind of pulling off almost every zip, didn't he?
Well, that's the Mega Man 2 advantage. MetaLow is a known Mega Man 2 veteran, running any percent and Buster only, having the record for Buster only. So MetaLow knows what he's doing in Mega Man 2. So he does have a distinct advantage over Squidman as far as knowing how the vanilla game works. But we still got at least one more randomized seed to go through, one more race, and what could be in this particular seed, we have no clue if it can be beneficial for MetaLow or it could be a hindrance and give Squidman a way to even this series up.
Yeah, and then of course, like I said before, I would be impressed to see any one of these two runners going against Mega Kyle. But for sure, even I would imagine any of these people losing, to see either one of them go against a Prodigy who ended up beating our Buster-only Kami-Senin, our Kumba who ended up, actually pulling off some zips that I've never actually seen as far as the race, some really dangerous zips. Either one of those we have a lot of really good upcoming races, I would say.
And there's I see good old Bob Rojo, Bob the
Bob
Red.
Rojo.
We got Bob the Red seed. If your name is Bob the Red, this is the seed for you.
If you're a pirate or a Viking, we feel bad. No.
But anyway, we got our SRL countdown going on right now. So in a few seconds, we're about to have race 2 of the best of 3 between MetaLow and Squidman. We're about to see if Squidman can even this series up and hopefully get ourselves into a match 3. Otherwise, we're gonna have ourselves another Mega Man 2